Welcome, everybody. It is Monday night, and it's time to take 20 minutes, just 20 minutes of time to broaden your understanding and depth of understanding for soul products. And tonight we're going to be focusing on one of my favorites. Yes, I know they're all my favorites, but this one also stands out in some unique ways, and that is the Solle Excell. And we're going to start out by learning about how it impacted the life of Miss Tammy Peterson. Tammy's husband, Damon, had dealt and been challenged with high cholesterol for years and years. She was just so excited when she found out that when he started taking Excel in just a few couple months from August through December, his cholesterol started shifting. And so, what they call the bad cholesterol, or refer to as the lousy LDL, had dropped by 10 points. They then continued the journey by adding in cinnamate and got even better results. It continued to build and build so that this is a game changer in their family, so much so that the doctor is no longer challenging and suggesting cholesterol medication. And I will tell you, across the board, we've seen this type of results when it comes to our products. And I love when we get stories like this and and the numbers just speak for themselves. Now we know that there's a lot of reasons why these type of results happen, and you're going to learn some of those as we dive deeper into the components of the Soul Excel and can better understand. So what are the key benefits for this product, which is in the clarifying category? This is easily recognized because it has the yellow label. So, one of the things that it is known for is helping to support libido and just generally the endocrine system. And we're going to look at the different types of maca that are in here and how it impacts the whole endocrine system, which means it is going to support glands. It's going to look at the memory. It's going to look at prostate, reproductive health, skin health. So, alertness is one of the things that gets impact. In fact, I told people that one of the things that was very noticeable for myself when I started on the Excel was it was like the light was turned on in my brain, literally like someone turned on the attic light and poof. And for those of you that know how much I rely on this up here, it just took it to a whole nother level from what I was already experiencing. The Excel also, because of course, because we have always have adaptogens in here, is going to impact our ability for how we handle stress. But because we've got antioxidant properties and amino acids, it's also going to help prevent the derogatory impact that happens on the system from stress. Healthy bones, red maca has been shown to impact our bone density. And as you know, we have three different forms of the maca in here. And then we're looking at the respiratory and circulatory support as well, because of some of the herbs that are in here that are very well known, renowned for their ability to support this. And then immune health, kupuasu is really high in vitamin C. And it is recognized to impact. I mean, think of Linus Pauling's work. He did all kinds of studies and even won a Nobel Prize for showing the impact that vitamin C has on our immune health. And kupuasu is one of the things that's in that. So we're going to talk more in depth about maca later, but I wanted to go ahead and throw out there that we do have three different types of maca in here. We have yellow, red, and black. That in itself sets this formula apart because not all formulas that are out there that have maca go to the extra mile by having different varieties in it. Now, maca, because it is adaptogen, does help us in endurance. So it helps to protect against fatigue. It is known for its support for hormonal and mood balance, along with libido and healthy bones, which we reference. But one of the reasons in the stories that I always share that has to do with maca as to why, how it kind of came about and got its recognition, started getting out there, had to do with in the area in the mountain range where it was discovered when the culture, local culture, was already using this, and we had the outside come in, like the Spanish, I believe, coming into the area. And when they moved in, they were not, these conquistadors and their families were not being able to, their animals weren't being able to have offspring. the people weren't being able to have offspring. It was impacted. And so the locals said, here's what you need to do. You need to eat this root, which is tied in with the turnip family. And the reproduction came about and back into play. And I will tell you that I have lots of moms out there that were having challenges with fertility, that we have Excel babies running around out there, because it really doesn't seem to take very long once we've added Excel into the program to where the fertility just takes off. Kupuasu. Now, we referenced this earlier. Kupuasu is a superfruit. It's a very powerful antioxidant, and I did reference on that other slide about it being very high in vitamin C. Well, it does come out of like the Amazon rainforest, and it is in the chocolate family, although it has the richness and the roundness and the depth of that, but it doesn't taste like chocolate. But there is a depth to the flavor. And kupuasu is loaded with amino acids. Now, amino acids do help build muscle, but they also help the brain to function. They're very involved with a lot of the everyday functions in the body. Also has theacrine, which is going to help with locomotor function. So that can that can be a game changer for a lot of people. Now, I didn't want to not go in depth about some of the products that are in here in our Soul Clear blend, which is part of the Excel. But I wanted to do a light touch on it because they're very important plants, and they bring a lot to the table as to why the Excel does what it does. Bilberry, many of you know the story about how bilberry was used in the World War, and how it was so high in naturally in vitamin A that it helped with the eyesight for the pilots at night for the British Air Force. It's also outstanding for colds, earaches, runny nose. It supports the liver, coughs. And remember, in our Soul Clear formula, we're talking about clarifying, and in the clarifying category, we're looking at the filtering system. So we're looking here at the respiratory system. Fennel. Excel, by the way, is outstanding if we have a nursing mom to help bring in a nice amount of breast milk. And one of the reasons has to do with the fennel that's in here. It helps support lactation. Fennel's also been known and used for digestion. In fact, a lot of moms talk about using fennel itself when their children are young and dealing with colic. So it's very good for digestion. Fennel also helps get uric acid out of the system, and it helps with the gallbladder. And again, this is a light skim over a lot of the properties that these plants have. Eyebright. The Indians named this and referred to this plant as eyebright because it felt like it brought the clarity back to the eyes for the people. And if you look at this, yes, it helps to deal with allergies, but there's all kinds of things that it does for the eye when it comes to strengthening it, when it comes to different eye disorders. When we talk about eye types of infections, eye strain, with a lot of people spending a lot of time on the computer these days, glaucoma. In fact, there are multiple people that have had their eyesight improve with being on this formula. I know that years ago when we first got this formula, I had a medically retired nurse who had ended up going legally blind, and literally 2 weeks after that happened, we got this formula to her. And she was able to, because it was so soon to when her eyesight had shifted, she was able to get her eyesight back where it needed to be and was able to go back to driving. What else is in this formula? Butcher's broom. Butcher's broom, and it's really kind of neat the way some of these plants get their names. Butcher's broom was named this way because the butchers would use it after butchering in their shops to clean up, because what it did for addressing the blood that was left behind. And you can see that it helps to prevent blood clotting. It helps to support capillary weakness. So we might be thinking about issues with varicose vein, challenges with phlebitis, helping with stroke prevention. It has great anti-inflammatory properties. So butcher's broom is one of those ones that has been around for a long time, and it will continue to hold a strong place because its properties are so well renowned. Fenugreek is another herb that nursing moms use to help bring their lactation levels up where they need it to be, but it's also very good at sinus support, lung support, your allergies. And when we talk about expectorant properties, so moving it out, but it's at the same time it tightens in tones. And so fenugreek helps to move things through. It also does help with support, keeping blood sugar in ideal range. And then celery seed. It helps to challenge things like arthritis. It itself is known for supporting bone health, also supports red blood cell formation, and it has antioxidant properties. Now we're going to hear from Greg Halliday, our Solle Naturals founder and president, on some more in-depth information on the maca.
Today we're talking about Solle Excell, this bright yellow box, which is a product designed to remove what impedes the flow of energy and the flow of health in the body. That sounds really philosophical, but it's actually very, very practical. Because when you think about breathing and oxygen getting into our bloodstream so that it can get to our cells, lots of things can impede that. There are pollutants, there are allergies, and the body needs proper nutrition and enough of it for it to take care of those let's call them imbalances in the flow of oxygen. And the same thing for our circulation, for blood flow. Lots of things don't move that should move. In fact, really, when you think about it, life and health is movement. And so the yellow products at Solle are to restore movement. And so half of the formula of Solle Excell is a blend we call Solle Clear. And there are herbs that help the body uses to keep your lungs and your respiration healthy and to keep your blood healthy and your circulation healthy and things along those lines. But sometimes I'll get the question, why the other half of the formula? Because the other half of the formula is something we call the Tri-Maca Vibrancy Blend, which is principally 3 different kinds of maca: red, yellow, and black maca. And people are like, why is maca in there? Maca is an adaptogen, and it's quite a remarkable root and almost forgotten in the 1970s. And so my first answer to why is maca in Excel is the name Gloria Chacon. That's one of the reasons, because Gloria Chacon was a PhD, one of the scientists that was studying all the great supplemental benefits for our health in maca. It was almost a forgotten crop in the 1970s, and hardly any, I think something like 70 acres is what the estimate is, that it is all that remained of the maca industry because of our modernization and modern foods. But maca has some very important properties. It is highly nutritious. It grows just below the glacial ice cap in very severe conditions. And it just so happens that the compounds in maca are excellent food. They're excellent tonics for our glands. And one of the things that Dr. Chacon researched and proved is that our hypothalamus and our pituitary, these sort of master glands in the body, are strengthened with maca so that hormones in general are more balanced and do better. Now, what does that have to do with everything else in Solle Excell? Well, if you think about it for a minute, the glands in our body, our pancreas, which deals with blood sugar regulation and digestion, and our thymus, which deals with immune cells, our glands are involved in every part of health, including keeping our body flowing with energy and nutrition. And so the macas, one important reason they're there, they help manage stress, yes, but they have this superpower of balancing the glands because of the benefits they have for our master glands.
All right, and now we have Greg Halliday here himself. If you'll unmute yourself, my friend, would love to have you share a little bit more, maybe some of the other success stories you've heard with Solle Excell.
Good to be here, Valerie. Hello, everybody. Yeah, there are so many. You got me thinking when you were sharing some of your testimonials from when we first introduced the formula. And I'll share one from very recently, last Saturday, a week ago Saturday. I was on a virtual meeting, a virtual soul meeting, and one of the ladies who was sharing, her name is Maye. Maye is from Tampa, the Tampa area. She was sharing all about her reputation in the area, which is sort of built out of maca babies, like what you shared with Excel. What surprised me is how generally short the period, not for everybody, but for most of them, how generally short the period of time was, like a month, 2 months, 3 months, very typical. It was something like that where she'd add in either Excel or the Sol Maca XD, which has the macas in the capsule form, and people that had been struggling, couples that had been struggling for a while to get pregnant, suddenly there it was. So she sort of built this reputation. She's like, oh, just talk to Maya. She'll get you going. And that is a, I think, an amazing thing about the mock is when you understand the research and how it is not putting hormones in your body, it's helping your body balance itself. That's what's so remarkable to me. You don't have to deal with, okay, if I'm putting this, am I balancing out that and all that stuff, which is a little harder. Um, Maya is able to just help people. The story that I wanted to share from going back a few years, one of our really great soul leaders who has been through the ringer with health, I will tell you, like so many of us, came into this, what I like to joke about, this industry of the crazy herbs, because health brings you in and suddenly you learn and it changes your life. Well, that was her story. She had a good friend who knew about soul, and she had just been diagnosed with a type of thyroid cancer. And I don't usually talk about those. We try to avoid, I probably should have said abnormal cells because I don't like to put expectations out there. But this is her story, and that's just where she was. And this friend said, hey, before you go the route that she was going to go, at least give this nutrition a try. And so she showed her Soul Excel, and she told her to take it not just once a day, take it once in the morning and once in the afternoon. Like that's 2 packets, 2 drinks a day. So Marcella, her name is Marcella Endrick. Marcella told me that the moment she tasted it, there was something there, her body just craved it. She goes, it was like I can't remember how she said it. She's telling me this in Spanish, but it's like this drink is, my body's just like soaking it up, right? And so she got done and she's like, I don't want to wait for the afternoon. So like an hour later, she's like, I'm just going to drink another one. And her body was like, oh, that's good. And an hour or so later, "Oh, I'd really like to drink another one of those. She told me to just drink two in a day. She's like, I finally said, Marcella, how many did you drink? She goes, I don't want to tell you. I'm not going to tell you how many. I'm like, well, it's okay. You can tell me. She drank like 7 that first day. But think about that. Every one was that her body craved it. She wasn't like trying to hit a number. Nobody told her to. It was like, wow, this is good. I think I'm going to have another. Ooh, that was good. I think I'm going to have another. And she kept doing that. I don't remember for how long. And it wasn't, I'm sure, 7 every day. It was a lot. She just kept drinking it every time she felt like it for a period of time. Now that was, oh, I can't remember, Valerie. I want to say 10 years. It's probably at least 10 years, right around there. And Marcella she's had a couple other health issues, but not this one. That one had gone away, back into balance. And she tells me it's her Excel story. Now she found out about other products with Soul, but that was to the gateway for her and the big difference maker and a great lesson in listening to your body.
Oh, I love that. Thanks for reminding us of that story, Greg. Thank you so much. Okay, there we
Today we're
go.
talking.
All right. So I did want to touch a little bit more because maca, Excel is a powerful formula, and maca is one of the big players in it. And so I want to share a little bit with the a study done in 2004 talking about maca and how it increases tissue levels of IGF-1. So this is just like Greg was saying, this is something that helps support the body create the amount and correct level of hormones for our body. And so it helps to support a healthy hormonal system. I know that when Excel came out, I was just had been in shifting into menopause, and it at that point when I started, my cycles had gotten kind of erratic, even though I was not having any hot flashes. I started the Excel, bam, they were done, and that was 10, 11 years ago, however long ago, that when we got the Excel gone and nothing, no issues whatsoever with menopause. It's going to help with reproduction levels, keeping them healthy in men, supporting your collagen-based structures, but also including bone as well, neurotransmitter, and then like Greg was talking about, healthy endocrine glands, so thyroid, pancreas, adrenal, adrenal glands, testes. And then finally, I want to share the specifics when it came to the bone density, because a lot of people are having challenges with osteoporosis, osteopenia, and different variations. And the red maca, which again, we have in our formula because we have all three, where there's a study from 2006, which I have documented down there, showing increased bone density after it. So the current thinking in that community, in the scientific community, is that because of maca's ability to balance hormones and increase energy levels, so otherwise you feel like moving around, and we know that movement, and they talk about weight bearing, is important for bone density, and that this plays a role in this. A lot of good stuff here. Hard to do it quick and try and keep it in the 20 minutes. You can see the breakdown here. And I'm looking at this and realizing I did not get, for whatever reason, kupuasu is really high in vitamin C, and I didn't even, I'll add that on the slide before it gets sent out. By the way, for those of you who want to be on the email list, and you haven't put your name on it yet, make certain you put in the chat your name and your email address. So tomorrow morning when I send out this recording, along with some of these slides, that you'll get that. So you can see the breakdown. We've got lots of vitamin C, we've got iron, zinc, selenium, magnesium. It's a really beautiful balance for our nutritional profile highlights. And as we wrap it up, we know that I like to do a quote. And I just think this is so important because our formulas really are food. It's a nice, dense nutrition and food. You're not having to sit there with a big bushel of plants and um, fruits and vegetables and everything. And so this quote for me works. What most people don't realize is that food is not just calories, it's information. It actually contains messages that communicate to every cell in the body. So thank you everyone for joining.